Welcome to this part of the Chronicles of the Machines, and thank you for taking the time to watch. We are now closing in on the final stretch of the march to galactic domination. Only 4 empires remain: the Cynur State, the Tzynn Empire, the Norani Confederation, and the fallen empire of the Khan Vissam. This video focuses on the first 3 of those empires, and the Khan Vissam will be covered in the next part. The battles featured in this video actually took nearly 2 hours of game time to complete, so this video is heavily edited with a view to showing the changing shape of the territory in a fast-moving, dynamic way. Now for a brief recap. This is how the galaxy looked at the end of the last war we fought, featured in video 7 in this series. 26 years later, it looks like this. The Caravaneers have moved their base, due mainly to me deciding to kick them out of our territory. The L cluster has been found, and the Norani and Tzynn remain in conflict, constantly changing their respective borders. So now, it's time to go to war again. The year is 2489, and I think the time has come for us to put an end to this conflict by taking out the few remaining empires that still occupy territory within this galaxy. There is an additional challenge, however, in that the endgame crisis is due to trigger at 2500, and it will be an interesting scenario to see how the endgame crisis might impact on or change the war, or vice versa. So this is a bit of a gamble, but we'll see how we get on with it. Declare war against the Cynur State.
Diplomatic
Supremacy.
war protocols initiated.
Now, the starting position for this isn't brilliant because I have fleet out of position, but we'll have to see how we get on with them. So first things first, we'll move you into the Litherian Vortex. We'll pause this while we're giving the ships their orders. The Manwood Fleet. Yes, we'll give you an order to go in there. The first 15 to 20 minutes or so were taken up with giving navies and armies instructions as to which star systems to invade and which planets to occupy. We are therefore going to jump ahead now to see territory starting to change hands. What you are about to see here is this territory here about to fall under our control. The next few sequences will show each of those systems in turn being taken. We do need to jump forward 9 months though in order to catch up with the movement of our fleets. First to fall is the Black Hole. The capture of the Meredith system has not been caught on film, so next we move to the Saramor system.
Technological acquisition successful.
Next up, Maya. We now go to Aselius. While star navies move west to Nizatarom, the armies are coming in behind to take the planets out in the Meredith and Saramor systems. Here is the Meredith conquest.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
And here is the Saramor victory.
Ship fragments dissected. Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
On our way through to those systems, we also kicked out the Caravaneers from their space, which was why there was an unclaimed system in that area. This is now the area we are moving through in order to split the Cynur State into smaller, non-contiguous boundaried territories. We are now going to see the conquest of Trab and Tropelium. Trab is taken. Tropelium falls, but needs armies in order to occupy the planets. Obshola has to fall to fill in that hole. Obshola has now fallen, filling in the hole. The ones at Obshola need to start coming down here. What are the Norani doing up here? The Norani entanglement. Whilst we've been focusing on the Cynur and the Tzynn, the Norani have been having some fun in their own backyard and have been taking systems off the Tzynn. At this point, it is not negatively impacting on our ambitions and may even help speed up the demise of the Tzynn. We will be keeping an eye on the Norani though, and we have not ruled out the possibility of fighting another war to push them back or even eliminate them. But at this moment in time, we're going to let them continue having their fun. What are we looking at, Farvalian? No, get out of there, you idiots. You've not taken it yet. You got there before the flipping Navy.
Alert.
I have found it somewhat frustrating that on occasions the armies will advance ahead of the navies, which makes them very vulnerable, and this is one of those occasions. We are now going to look at the system of Collidor, which is quite strategically placed. If we don't take it, it would enable the Tzynn to have a blockage in that path of hyperlanes, so it has to go. And now it has. Upa Farvis is next to fall. We are now heading back to the area that was formerly the Babaki territory, but is now the southern end of the Tzynn Empire. Manship is next to go.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
All this area here was formerly Cynur territory. We are making progress in this area of the galaxy. We are taking a number of star systems, but they've not yet converted to our territory until we have occupied the inhabited planets or habitats. You can see here that along this western border of the Cynur State there are a lot of systems with planets in, which is taking a long time to convert to our territory because of the need to land armies on every single inhabited planet or habitat to convert them to our machine race. Here I am sending a fleet into Breek to take that little hole that's in the middle of our system, but because of the hyperlane arrangements it's got quite a bit of a trip to go before it gets there.
Planetary pacification protocols.
Here are 3 more planets, in addition to the 5 I showed you earlier, that are all awaiting our armies to land and occupy them. We are being stretched for our land army resources at the moment. Where are these armies? Ooh, 82,000. Big fleet. 32,000. At this point, I've counted at least 11 star systems that require armies to go in and complete the takeover. And as you can see from the outliner, I currently only have 5. After all that trouble I went to take the Lithirian Vortex, do the Cynur really think I'm going to leave it there in their hands? Not a chance. We move again to see Ugarazli change hands. Let's get in there then. At this stage there is still a lot of work to do to trim down the Cynur to a manageable size before the endgame crisis. Lots of hyperlanes, lots of star systems and lots of inhabited worlds. On we go! It's time to check in at the Tzynn-er table. I know, bad pun, but I couldn't resist it. The area we are now looking at is in the very southeastern corner of the galaxy, and the brown sludge on the outside is our territory which we have taken from the Tzynn. As you can see, the Tzynn Empire is shrinking. This area here has now been taken, and so the sludge has actually split the Tzynn Empire into 2 parts. We now have to think about taking out Babaka, which is a world of rebels from the Tzynn Empire, but I think it was also the capital world of the Babaki Cabal. This area here has 2 inhabited systems, so a few armies will be needed to clear that up, but as we go north you can see that these are mostly star systems with no areas of population. We can now see that both the Cynur and the Tzynn empires are shrinking as we progress through their systems. Okay, this is going up. This is going up quite nicely up here. We should start to fill this gap in soon. This is the area that has proved quite resilient from the very beginning of this battle. So now we can see that the tide is turning here, and these systems are now starting to fall to the machines.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
With the fall of Oeprinda, we are finally beginning to take the inhabited systems off the Cynur. And we are now only 8 years away from the endgame crisis. I want rid of that. Right. Who are these? Who are these? We are now going to take out the unnamed rebels of the Tzynn Empire and clear up that blot on our map. You're in my way. Get out of my way.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
This is a pincer movement up here, look.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
We're going to need a science ship up there. I'll get a construction ship to fly there. And a science ship to fly there as well. Is there? Oh, there's only wormhole access. Ah, wormhole between those two. I've seen that before. Okay. You see, the Noranis have come all the way down here. Yeah, the Noranis are proving to be troublesome, to say the least.
Ship fragments dissected.
Could do with the Noranis out of the way in this war. You've got to get that first. Take these out up here. This side is virtually done. We've got to take that, actually. It might be better tactically for us to go and get that now. Let them have that, and that can be our border. Because then we get that wormhole. I think that side's done because of the Nabani. That strategy that I have just voiced would be fine if we wanted to stop and have a clear and distinct border between ourselves and the Norani. But we don't want to stop there, and if we have to go to the war with Norani, then maybe we should. I'll make a water. Yeah, look, I'll make a box. Where's this? Delicate spring in Sisaja. Okay. What's that?
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
Oh, you Norani, you scumbags. You've cut me off. Oh, no, you haven't. We've won that. Pause. Now, what was that science ship that I sent up there? Why is there no route? Oh, there's the rebels again. Ooh, you flipping people. The rebels, who were supposed to be a fairly simple exercise in eliminating, have turned out to be quite a pain. They've taken that sausage-shaped piece of territory and are pushing to expand their borders. That does, of course, mean that our attention is now focused on them to a much greater degree than it was before. What's your garrison? 466. You're okay. So, Hawes, go and take that one out. Because there are no other inhabited systems within this rebel territory, once the planet of Bebak falls, that empire will be eliminated and some systems will become free to take.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives. Units have achieved all objectives.
We took the Babaka system before we had occupied the other systems, which is why there is now a hole in our territory of systems waiting to be surveyed and claimed. I'm sending a science ship to survey those systems. Is there a starbase near here? Build a science ship. Science, where are you? There. See if we can get you around this time. We've taken out those rebels. Oh, we're at war with the Norani now. Okay, good. Fine. Let's start taking back some of this territory from them then. Let's start clearing up a few messes then. Didn't realise we were at war with the Norani. They made a peace deal. Yeah, the Tzynn and the Norani had a peace deal. Good. If we pause a moment and have a look at this peace deal in a bit more detail, you can see that the most important part is this section here, where the Norani Confederation have taken 9 systems from the Tzynn Empire. The Tzynn, on the other hand, have only taken 1 system from the Norani. What this actually means is that at the end of that conflict, the Tzynn Empire is substantially reduced in size, which means it is ever closer to elimination from the galaxy, which we will see very, very soon. The Tzynr got to 100% war exhaustion.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated. Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
Oh, the Tzynn Empire has been destroyed by its enemies. Interesting. Does that mean it's the Norani that's taken over? Let's have a look how that No. Oh, looks like we've taken them out. We've got a few Swiss cheese holes, which I don't like, as you know. So let's send that one up there. Right, so that's the Tzynn gone. So we just got to focus on the Cynur now. And these people. And the Norani. I hadn't realised we'd taken out the Tzynn. I have a theory as well about why we are at war with the Norani. And that is, I think after the Tzynn and the Norani had their peace deal, they went into a mutual defence situation, which means that as I was still at war with the Tzynn, I automatically became at war with the Norani. Look at what's going on here. The Cynur have decided to do a counter-offensive and try to retake systems that we had previously taken from them. This is not acceptable and has to be resolved soon. I'm going to merge those three. We've now reached a point with the Cynur State that we are going to start seeing the payoff from all the preparatory work we've done before as our land armies begin to take planets and our navies continue to take out uninhabited star systems. We will see the territory of the Cynur begin to change quite rapidly.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
The Meredith system is now back where it belongs. With us. You need to wait there until... Oh no, you don't need to wait there. You can go and start taking these planets here. This battle is a counter-offensive from the Cynur. Not a very successful one, as you will see. Boom! They're gone. If they keep throwing fleets away like that, then they won't be around for too much longer. Just go away.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
You pacifying it now.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
Three planets up there. This Cynur one is very messy.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
Very messy.
Executing evasion protocols.
Where? Right, pause again. Psionic entity. We're going to have to send something in there to blow that to smithereens, aren't we? They are not behaving themselves up there after all. Vectors. They're going to have to go across there, aren't they? Start dealing with these. you going to go? You're going to go in there. Tzynn-er consonant. Right, let's have another look at what we're doing over here. Gosh, there's another planet in there. That's taking its time, isn't it? Take you down. Where are you going? You're going there, so you go there. You go there. You go.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
Oh gosh, where are we? Molbion. You weren't supposed to do that.
Ground invasion units have failed to achieve objectives. Alert. Science unit engaged. Alert.
What?
Construction unit offline.
Why are you going in front? Stop it! Stop! Oh, that's because you've been taken down, haven't it? They're coming back at you up that end. That's why they've been engaged. Manward, what are you doing down there at Manward? An 1800 fleet in there. You're making me run around chasing my tail, aren't you? These inaccessible systems are because of FTL inhibitors in the systems, which means that our fleets can only go out of the system the way they came in. They can't go through the system on a rampage towards the next target. So what this has meant is that in some systems I've had to destroy the ground defences or the starbase that includes the FTL inhibitor. How is that containing an FTL inhibitor? The answer to my question is that it is sitting on this planet here. Has it got one planet side? Looking back with the benefit of hindsight, an easier way of getting rid of those FTL inhibitors was simply to land armies on the planet and take them into our control. They would then become our FTL inhibitors.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives. System survey complete.
Yeah, that's an interesting overview. Look, we've actually split the Cynur State into 4 parts now. This split here is what I was seeking to achieve from the moment war was declared on the Cynur State. Okay, let's carry on. That's right.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
There's obviously more planets in there, though. Here we are, back in Norani territory, at the system in Matar. You can see we've taken back the Jindic system, which has given us control again of the gateway. Our navies are moving south to try and close off that section of the galaxy and to make our passage through the Norani space that bit easier.
All objectives.
And now we return to the Cynur. So, let's go in there. Sword.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
We're going well. We're going really, really well right now.
Planetary settlement procedure initiated. Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
We're nearly done. We're nearly done. Well, not quite, but...
Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
Let's clear out these last few remnants of the Norani. It is worth noting at this point that we are less than 2 years away from the endgame crisis triggering.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
What are you doing up there? It's time we had you around here, isn't it? Which ground invasion is making, and what else is in Breglar then?
Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
These war drone mega war forms, they're so good. Look at them all sitting back here waiting. That's no problem. Wutart is going to fall.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
An interesting question about these megastructures that I am taking over in the Cynur space is whether I can actually have 2 of certain types actually operating simultaneously, because I can only build one of them in my empire. But what I'm not clear about is what happens if I take over an already functioning one, whether that will continue to function or whether I actually have to shut it down or even possibly dismantle it. That's a question I do not yet have an answer for.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated. Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
We are heading now for the final stretch, because as you can see, we are starting to fill holes in the territory and bring the two remaining empires down to a small size. We are also less than a year away from the endgame crisis triggering, so I think I can tell you now that we don't actually get to finish these two empires in this video. You will have to come back in part 10 to see the end of these two empires, because part 9 will focus exclusively on the endgame crisis. FTL inhibitors are doing their job. Very much so. Are we ready to take on this planet landing now? The FTL inhibitors are only doing their job because at the time I played this game, I was being silly, stupid, dumb. I should have just taken the planets out. End of story.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated. Planetary surface settlement established. Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
You can see now that the Swiss cheese holes, as I described them, have in fact been filled in now, and we are homing in on the final areas of the Cynur territory. I bet it's down in there. Look at all these planets down here. That's a pain in the butt. It's partly because of these planets that we will not get to finish off this empire before the endgame crisis triggers. Who's died now? Another researcher. Great. At this stage in the game, science has become largely irrelevant, because for all three branches I'm now on the repeatable sciences, which, yes, they increase things like the monthly energy credits and the amount of minerals you get from miners, but they don't actually advance the empire any further forward by now.
Ground invasion units have achieved all objectives.
Anything else in there? No. So we send you through to Adum here. We can see that this system hosts the capital planet of the Cynur State, Cyrus Prime. But even if we take it at this stage, all that will happen is that the capital will move to one of their other occupied planets.
Planetary pacification protocols initiated.
The year 2500 has dawned. This is the year in which the endgame crisis will begin. The priority now is to take as many systems as possible before the crisis spawns. Because once the crisis spawns, that will be what takes the focus of our attention. Send you into there. See the Norani now. Reversing nothing. Gotta get rid of that FTL inhibitor. There's FTL inhibitors on all these planets. This is all that is left of the Norani Confederation, a once troublesome outfit, but now a mere pawn waiting to be knocked off the table. The Cynur State is also reduced from the great empire they thought they were to a mere bagatelle of pawns waiting to be scattered. This battle for Tzynn has cleared up a mystery from earlier when I was unsure as to who had delivered the final blow to the Tzynn Empire. We can now see that it was in fact the Norani Confederation that took the Tzynn capital system and have occupied that territory ever since. It is of course going to change hands and become part of our greater empire, but at least we now know that it was the Norani that ended the Tzynn, not us. It began as a subtle shift in Khan Visam behaviour. Scattered reports of their ships, once rarely seen outside their own space, now being spotted in remote systems all across the galaxy. Highly advanced scouting vessels visiting ancient ruined worlds, refusing all hails and fleeing when attacked. Their purpose and mission unknown, until now. We now know that the Khan Visam were preparing, recovering the databanks of survey beacons and automated scouting posts left behind when they retreated to their present borders, gathering information for their return to the galactic stage. In Carnivizarm space, fleets are gathering, armies are being mustered, and ancient factories roar to life. For the first time in an age, the Carnivizarm Crusaders are looking outwards beyond their borders and towards the galaxy at large. As their decaying shipyards are repaired and refitted and the dormant systems of Titan foundries come online, the rest of the galaxy is left with only one question. Who will this once sleeping giant target first in their quest to reclaim age-old glory lost?
Planetary pacification protocols.
Now the endgame crisis has been triggered, it is time to bring to an end the current conflicts with the Cynur and the Norani. The reason for this is that I want to focus entirely on fighting the endgame crisis, the Carnivizarm, and I don't want to be distracted by continuing to have wars going on with two other states. So we will declare peace with both of the other states and prepare ourselves to go to war with this now awoken empire. That will come in the next video. So for now, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel, press the like button, leave a comment and share this video amongst your friends. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm to help us get more eyes on this video. We will catch you again in video 9 where we take on the Awoken Empire. Bye for now.